Hi, happy Sunday. It's Annabelle. I'm covering this week's Sketchbook Sunday again. This was last time's. For this entry, I am going to do something a little bit different by adding a little bit of color in quite an easy way. This pink cardstock is a cut-up box that used to hold little shadows. So ColourPop eyeshadows, you can see where the circle is where they would show the shade. So that was kind of what gave me that inspiration. Ironically, I forgot to use that piece in the end, you'll see. Anyways, I encourage you to look around and reuse any materials, especially ones that have beautiful colors. It's just too good to throw this away. And to make things easier, I'm not going to use glue. I have some double-sided tape, so I simply line up all the edges and I could begin. Now that we've done a good amount of Sketchbook Sundays, I'm starting to get a little bored and want to try different things, and definitely I always have the urge to add more color. I'm not going to strictly use the boxes to hold all the images because I think the whole point is that it looks cool to see the black lines on both the pink and the white, and that would be what's dimensional. So I'm starting outside the box. I wanted a curve to break this very geometric grid right now, and this is referencing a photo of us at the ice cream place. This Sketchbook Sunday, by the way, focuses on my trip to New York a couple of weeks ago, where I reunited with Tyler after not seeing him for 2 months, and I also saw William, which I haven't seen him since the summer either. So William goes to school in New York and we're all good friends. William and I go back like 10, 11 years. He has become a New Yorker in the last couple of years. Every time we go there, we don't exactly do touristy things. He takes us to neighborhoods such as this one. We took a stroll in Greenwich Village. So he showed us some of the streets with beautiful townhouses. This one specifically was a very peachy building on a corner, and it had beautiful ivy growing all over it, and the ivy was still quite lush and green. From where we were standing, there was a nice thick tree hovering over, so I tried to make that clear by altering my mark making, of course dotting it lighter to show the light ivy crawling over, and then adding some depth by shading inside the windows. That was a very lovely townhouse. We also went to Central Park to walk around and see the views because it was still quite sunny, and then the next day we walked like a couple miles on 2nd Avenue. So that's basically all we do, just stroll and we talk, and I love looking forward to food and desserts, and there's a good handful of great eats in the city. Now I'm going to draw the city skyline. It's something that I've missed doing. I kind of want, part of me really wants to draw a gigantic cityscape. You know, it's been a long time since I made a very intricate drawing, a line drawing of a scenery. Like when I applied for college, I made that bike drawing, and a lot of it is just making it up because as much as I'm following the photo of the skyline view, I'm also just improvising at the end, putting shading and lines where it looks like it needs it, wherever it looks right. I got to see a lot of great views that weekend. First, we went to Pod, which is a budget hotel, and those are so fun because even though it's, you know, really small and it's not super duper good quality, because they make it aesthetically pleasing, it's very fun. If any of you have stayed in hotels like Ibis, if any of you have stayed abroad, maybe in Europe with Ibis hotels, you could tell that it's quite inexpensive and the amenities are sparse. Like there's no hot water or coffee actually in this hotel at all. But considering the rate for a person, one night was $60, which is really nice considering the location. It was right in Midtown, so accessible. One time I booked a place in Brooklyn for $40 a night, and it was so out of the way. It took like an hour and a half just to get out there. But anyway, if you wanted to see all the places we went that weekend, the vlog just went up yesterday on Cat Creature. I'm really glad that a lot of people have responded well to it already, and I feel like nowadays I'm more and more inclined to share content with you that, I don't know, helps us be able to embrace our everyday in the best way possible. And I hope that it's never in a way where it's just trying to flaunt my life or to build a false image that is polished. It's really just a way to appreciate life and to create memoirs from that. Now I am drawing our first hotel room. It was beautiful. It was a boutique hotel, I believe somewhere in West Village. I'm trying to make this paper look like the mirror. Turns out that the proportions were all wrong, so I couldn't actually fit myself into the photo because the lamp would have been blocking my face. Moving on, I thought for a little bit what I wanted to put into this quite narrow box. I definitely want to remember the play that Tyler and I went to see called Sleep No More. By the way, nobody else dressed up. As you saw in the vlog, Tyler and I got ready wearing 30s inspired outfits because the Performing Arts Center had a jazz bar and we wanted to fit in. There were actors that were in character the whole time, so it was definitely wonderful to feel like I was immersed in that world. And then you would look over and this person would be wearing like a Patagonia jacket and like Abercrombie dress. So I wish that everybody dressed up because then it would be even more immersive. Like imagine going to Disneyland and everybody dressed up as a fairy tale or science fiction character. That would be awesome. I feel like I didn't explain the event very thoroughly in the vlog just because it is quite interesting. I had no idea what it was because I wanted it to be a surprise, which I feel like now I regret that a little bit because I didn't know it was inspired by Macbeth or film noir, so I went in not even realizing that it was a sort of play, and the whole idea is that you wander around the very gigantic set and try to piece together storylines. But I had no idea that I was actually supposed to pay attention so much to the acting. I will say for those who are curious, if you're visiting New York, I highly recommend this if you enjoy Broadway or theater of any kind. Even if you're not a theater goer, there is a lot for you to do if you don't want to watch the performances because the set is about 4 to 5 stories high and every set is very, very vast with many rooms. Some rooms I couldn't even go into because I didn't have time, which sucks because in every room it is so intricate and realistic. Granted, it was very dark in there, so that probably concealed a lot of construction or cords or something like that, but still I thought it was incredible, and just to be able to walk in that world is riveting. The event was over before we knew it, and the next day we went to Central Park, as I've mentioned. This is the part where I forgot to use the paper with the circle cut out, which is a shame because I probably would have drawn some sort of figure and framed it around the circle. But in the moment, as I'm sketching now, I'm just thinking about how I can articulate the organic lines of the ivy and lead it off the page by stitching together different imagery. So I naturally thought, okay, something from the park, and I took a photo of these ducklings swimming with their parents in the pond, which was so cute. Not only was it cute, the ripples were very beautiful to look at. So I drew those in, and now basically a game of how to fill in the missing gaps. There's something about the surface remaining white that always evokes a sense of unfinished to me. Maybe because we're used to painting on white canvases and all of that, so I always want to fill it in with something. Maybe in the future I can try out those paint markers or even whip out my gouache. These sketchbook entries are meant to be pretty quick and almost like a fun warm-up, as I say every time. So don't be scared into doing these things if you want to, by the way, because you don't have to be quote-unquote good at art or talented, whatever standards you pressure yourself with. Me from the past was very insecure in that way, and I'm sort of like that right now with my textiles practice because it's still very new to me that you often question, is this enough? Is this good enough? Is this worth doing? But I guess the big picture doesn't really matter, right? If it's worth doing or if it's enough, as long as it's something that you're doing. Just live your life and do it, and it's not about if you could have done better or if there could have been more, because you're still doing it. Much, much better than saying if you had the time or if you had the resources, you would do X, Y, Z, but then never actually get to it. Anyway, I am now filling more of the space with some writing. I'm just labeling the things we did. Like Sleep No More is the title of the play. Hotel Martin is the boutique hotel I loved. And then ending with a little paragraph of things we did. It seems very redundant to me right now, but I'm very confident that in 10 or 20 years, looking back at my writing is going to be informational and very nice as a keepsake. At this point, it would be cool to embellish this page, I think, with some stickers or washi tape. I don't have any of that. When I go home this winter, I'm raiding my mom's sticker collection. So this is our entry for today. Thank you so much for spending your time here. I really appreciate you stopping by. Make sure that you catch up on our other Sketchbook Sundays and the lovely tutorials that my sister have been making. Catch up on all of our videos and my cat creature ones. I would love to hear from you, so please comment down anything, your thoughts, or what you're excited about. And I will see you next time. Sending you our love. Bye.